Vandag se program is aan jou gebring deur Standard Bank, voluit vorentoe.
Goeiemôre en welkom op Grootplaas. Die jeug word graag bestempel as die toekoms van ons land. En kenners meen jonger generasies is veral belangrik vir die landbousektor en spesifiek voedselsekerheid. Die bedryf moet daarom nie skroom om beleggings in die sogenaamde agripreneurs te ondersoek nie. Kenilwe Nailana van Standard Bank gesels vanoggend met ons hieroor. Bly ingeskakel daarvoor na die jongste landbounuus.
Nutrifeeds, die formule vir sukses.
Volgens 'n onlangse persverklaring deur die Departement van Landbou, Bosbou en Visserye, vereis die Egiptiese sentrale administrasie van plantkwarantyn dat alle grane, vrugte en groente nou vir listeria getoets moet word. Dit volg nadat Egipte beperkings op Suid-Afrikaanse invoere ingestel het na die onlangse uitbreking van listeriose. Elke besending wat Suid-Afrika vir Egipte verlaat, sal nou vergesel moet wees van 'n sertifikaat wat verklaar dat dit vry is van listeria. Die Lichtenburgse landboumaatskappy NWK het 'n aanbod van R296,4 miljoen van Country Bird Holdings aanvaar vir die verkoop van sy hoender- en veevoerbesighede, Opti Agri Proprietary Limited. Die ooreenkoms is onderworpe aan die nuutste opskortingsvoorwaardes en regulatoriese goedkeurings. Volgens Wandile Siglobo van Agbus produseer Suid-Afrika gemiddeld 90,000 ton avokados per jaar. Dit het aansienlik gegroei van vlakke van net onder die 70,000 ton in die vroeë 2000s. Die belangrikste drywer agter die toename is grootlikse uitbreiding in die oppervlakte wat geplant is, wat weer ondersteun is deur 'n groeiende binnelandse en wêreldwye vraag na die vrug. Hy meen ook hierdie jaar het goed begin vir Suid-Afrikaanse avokado-produsente en uitvoerders. Die uitvoer van avokados vir die eerste kwartaal van 2018 het 4.524 ton bereik. Ongeveer 94% van die uitvoere het na Nederland, die Verenigde Koninkryk en Spanje gegaan, met die res bestem vir Portugal, Rusland en Libanon as ook ander markte. En die 4de streeksronde van vanjaar se Toyota Nasionale Jong Afslaerskompetisie het onlangs tydens die Valboeredag plaasgevind. Vlekkie de Tooi is as die wenner gekroon en Loan van der Walt, 'n gereelde gas op Grootplaas, het die tweede plek behaal. Beide dring nou deur na die nasionale ronde wat in September tydens Alpha in Parys gehou word. Vandag se nuus is aan jou gebring deur Nutrifeeds, die formule vir sukses.
Standard Bank, voluit vorentoe.
Vandag se weer is aan jou gebring deur Standard Bank, voluit vorentoe. Ons kyk nou na ons gesprek met Kenilwe Nailana oor agripreneurs. Die jeug is nie net die toekoms van ons ekonomie nie. Hulle hou ook die toekoms van landbou en voedselsekerheid in hulle hande. Die kenners meen dus dat die sektor in hierdie sogenaamde agripreneurs moet belê. Kenilwe Nailana van Standard Bank vertel ons nou meer. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, Elsa. I'm glad to be here.
Such an honor to have you here and to discuss this interesting topic. Kenilwe, why is it important for you to focus on youth in agriculture?
Elsa, it's very important that we focus on the youth because South Africa has an alarming high rate of youth unemployment. I mean, currently we are sitting at about 50%. That makes us the second ranking in the whole world. So it is a major concern. It needs attention. On the other hand, agriculture is contributing about 5% to total employment in the country. And if we put that in numbers, it's about 847,000 jobs. Now, an important question is, what percentage of that is youth and at what skill level? Because just to put it in context, if agriculture is going to create employment for the youth, it's important that the youth are skilled in those relevant skills that are going to empower them to succeed in the industry. In South Africa, the average age of a commercial farmer is about 62 years of age. So that is clearly an indication that there is a backlog or there are challenges for the new farmers to enter the industry.
And would you say that we have young people who are interested in agriculture?
Yes, absolutely. Just to give you the background, in the past, the youth was not showing interest in agriculture because it was never presented as a science or as a profession. I mean, in school, when we were misbehaving in class, they'd rather say, you know what, go and spend some time in the school garden. So that damaged the image somewhat. But we've seen that changing because now the youth is taking interest in food security, what is being produced, and the accessibility. Now they understand that there is more to agriculture than just production at farm level. You can participate in research, in agro-processing, or in government institutions where policies are made.
Does the current landscape accommodate the youth at all?
That's a very interesting question, Elsa, because South African agriculture is very developed and there are opportunities along the whole value chain. But we're not seeing many numbers of youth moving into the sector as we see the numbers that are moving in other sectors in the South African economy. Then we should ask ourselves, where is the problem? But what we have experienced is that most of these new farmers that want to enter into the sector, they experience difficulties in accessing some of the factors of production. Just to name a few, access to productive land, whether they want to rent or they want to buy, and even access to funding. Most of the young farmers, they do not have adequate collateral security, and you find that they also don't have enough equity or own contribution, which is what is required when you want to start a new business. So it becomes an obstacle for them to get into the industry.
So what can be done to make agriculture and its value chain more accommodative so that the youth can optimize their opportunities in the industry?
I think it's more about addressing the challenges that I have mentioned. With technology like precision farming and vertical farming, one doesn't necessarily need vast tracts of land to actually produce. So I think it needs to be a shift in thinking at what is supposed to be a farm business. Yes. Even from our side, we have to be more creative and innovative when we create solutions. Because it's not business as usual. It's a completely different market that we should be serving.
I agree. We'll continue with this conversation in a bit. So bly ingeskakel, ons gaan net hierna voort met ons gesprek. Ons kyk nou die jongste landboumarkte gevaar het.
Interland, herontdek dit wat saak maak.
Vandag se markte is aan jou gebring deur Hinterland. Herontdek dit wat saak maak. Ons kyk nou verder na ons gesprek met Kenilwe Nailana oor die jeug se rol in die landbousektor. Ons gesels nou verder met Kenilwe Nailana oor hoe die jong mense hulle plek in die landbousektor kan vind. Kenilwe, what are some of the misconceptions entertained by the youth regarding the agriculture industry? And how can this be addressed?
Elsa, I've come through about 3, I think, misconceptions about the industry. Yes. The first one being that it is quite traditional and old-fashioned. And that is not the case because over the years, the industry made great strides in technological advancement because now there is the use of drones and precision farming and remote sensoring in the industry. And the second one is actually about the the high barriers to entry, and with emphasis on economies of scale. Like if you have to enter into the industry, you need to have a lot of money, it takes a lot of capital. But then there's a new generation of farmers that we've seen emerging that have actually identified niche markets, and they are producing at small scale level.
Yes.
And what is great about producing at a small scale level is that you actually don't have those high overhead costs to deal with. So that's one of those things that you have to be creative and innovative when you identify a space where you can play in the industry. And the third one being that agriculture absorbs mainly unskilled labor. And you find that you say, you know what, if I really want to develop and grow myself, it's not a space for me. And that is not the case, because there is a specialization in agriculture. We do have agronomy, we have agriculture economics and engineering, just to name a few.
Yes, a lot of opportunities. You have mentioned all that needs to be done to change misconceptions around the agriculture industry. Are we in South Africa getting it right in terms of turning these misconceptions around?
I think we are slowly getting it right, because now you can see there are more youth taking interest in the industry, and there's still more that can be done. There need to be more education and awareness. Therefore, as an industry, we need to make a concerted effort, actually, that how do we promote, how do we make, especially at a school level, how do we make the students aware that there is actual opportunities and career prospects in agriculture? We should be holding career expos at universities and even at high schools.
And then still on changing misconceptions, let's talk a bit about urbanization. Also its impact on food security. We see many young people moving from rural areas with the quest to seek better opportunities in the cities. So not only does this take away and create a shortage of food producers in rural areas, but it also creates a crisis of increased food demand in the urban areas or agriculture. So what will the role of young people be to resolve this matter?
Inevitably, urbanization is a result of economic growth. So if a country is doing well, income is improving, people tend to move to the urban areas. So, I mean, there were studies that were done, and there are estimates that by 2035, 50% of the population in Africa will actually be staying in urban areas. So this trend is going to continue for a while. As much as it is posing challenges for food production in the rural areas, it also creates opportunities for food production in the urban areas. And that's where the young farmers, the young people, can actually take advantage of those opportunities on food production, where it's closer to the markets. And with development in technology that we have currently, there's also improvement in efficiency, and they can also even use environmentally friendly production processes, because in the urban areas there's more demand for organic products. So if we can identify the space where you can play, because the consumer in the urban area, they want to know what they're eating, who is it produced by. So you just have to find a space along the value chain where you can actually optimize.
And we'll continue with this conversation shortly. Ons gesels net hierna verder. Ons kyk nou wat op die landboukalender voorlê. Ons kyk nou na die laaste deel van ons gesprek met Kenilwe Nailana oor geleenthede vir jong mense in die landbousektor.
Standard Bank, voluit vorentoe.
Kenilwe Nailana van Standard Bank vertel ons nou meer oor die geleenthede wat vir die jeug in landbou wag. Kenilwe, the word agripreneur is heard more and more these days. So who is the typical agripreneur and who fits the profile?
It is basically an entrepreneur in agriculture. So it's someone who's very passionate about agriculture, and they combine that with their business acumen. They're typically young, obviously. They're flexible. They're very agile. They're able to identify opportunities along the value chain and run with them.
And what benefits do agripreneurs bring to the agricultural economy in South Africa and obviously Southern Africa?
Elsa, there are definitely disruptors. Like it's a whole new game. It's not business as usual for them. They are flexible, But most importantly, they create employment opportunities because they are able to create small businesses in urban areas where there's saturated and quite high unemployment.
These new entrants with a new approach obviously face various challenges in the industry. What are they?
It's definitely a new approach. Then you find that they are misunderstood because in most cases they are actually self-funded because they struggle to access your conventional funding because their business model is quite unconventional. Then I think what is more important is for us to reorganize ourselves. Like, this is a new market, how do we tap into it? More than them feeling outside frustrated, how do they get into the mainstream? Because they are developing new markets actually, and at the same time creating employment.
So what opportunities do Standard Bank have for the youth, specifically when it comes to careers in agriculture within the banking industry?
As a Standard Bank is involved from the educational level. Since 1981, we've been publishing a finance and fund management book. We are now on our 6th edition. This book is used in most of South African universities that offer agricultural management and agriculture economics. And what is actually interesting about this book is also a useful guide on how to manage your farm business. So we are very involved from a very early stage. Then there's also opportunities for graduates because we are running a graduate development program. And it really helps because we find that when the graduates leave universities and want to start their career, they always saying you must have experience, 3 years experience. Yes. So this program addresses that because then they get into the bank and they gain valuable skills and experience.
And what about young people starting their own agri-businesses? How do they go about negotiating loans and funding from the bank?
The first important thing, you must have a viable business plan because your business plan is going to illustrate that you do understand the industry that you want to enter, you have identified the market, and also the skills that are required. Like as I've mentioned earlier in our conversation, that most of the young farmers, when they come to the banks, you find that they don't have enough security that is needed, and also enough on contribution that they have to put into the business. But then as Standard Bank, we have an enterprise development department that addresses that, and we partner with commodity organizations that are already there in the industry. So what we do, we bring support which is more in your unconventional funding, which is not your normal main funding, and development, more like technical support, and also we assist with access to market.
Kiniwe, are you positive and excited about the future and the youth in agriculture?
Definitely, I am very excited because there are plenty of opportunities, and I've seen how much the youth are taking interest actually in agriculture, whether they want to enter in corporate, where it's more about in business, agriculture, or even in banking, or they want to go into the main business of food production. So there are a lot of opportunities. You can do whatever you want, whether it's food production, agro-processing, or in the marketing side. So I am excited. I think it's going to go great.
I think this conversation was very inspiring, so thank you so much for visiting us this morning.
Thank you, Elsa, for having me.
Dit was Kiniwe Nailana van Standard Bank. Daarmee dan vanoggend se program. Besoek agriorbit.com om weer daarna te kyk. Maak seker jy volg ons op sosiale media platforms Facebook en Twitter om op hoogte te bly van die jongste sake en kuier môreoggend weer saam om 5:30 wanneer ons gesels oor hoe boere rentmeesters vir biodiversiteit op hulle plase kan word en op 'n spesifieke reptiel wat tans bedreig word fokus. Bly ingeskakel vir die groot ontbyt om 6:00 wanneer ons onder andere weer fokus op die jongste nuus, sokker en die werksomgewing en emosies asook Almero wat vir ons kom kuier. Geniet die res van jou dag.
Vandag se program is aan jou gebring deur Standard Bank, voluit vorentoe.